What we are eating, that is what our body is made of, that is common sense. More importantly, our mind is also made of that. The Vedas say, Ahar Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhi. Eat pure things, develop a pure mind. The Vedic scriptures repeatedly say that don't take meat products. Vegetarian diet is fine, but even then you are indulging in sin. Life exists in various forms. The plants also have life. If you are killing them, you are still involving yourself in karma. So how to release yourself from the karma?
Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 3, Karma Yoga. Verse chanting is followed by translation and commentary by Swami Mukundananda.
Yajñashishtāshinas santaha muchyante sarvakilbishaihi bhunjate te tvagam papaha ye pachantyatmakaranāt.
The spiritually minded who eat food that is first offered in sacrifice are released from all kinds of sin. Others who eat food for their own enjoyment verily eat only sin.
So now Shree Krishna touches upon the topic of food. Food is important because it is entering our system, and whatever enters us is going to impact us. The food that we eat is what we are made up of. We eat good things, our body develops a sattvic inclination, comes into the mode of goodness. And if we eat garbage, then our body also transforms accordingly. That is why George Bernard Shaw had said, he was a vegetarian, he said, don't make your stomach the graveyard for animals. What we are eating, that is what our body is made of, that is common sense. More importantly, our mind is also made of that. The Vedas say, Ahar Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhi. Eat pure things, develop a pure mind. There's a direct link between the food and the mind. Once you cross the Annamaya Kosh, the gross sheath, then that link is broken. Then it doesn't matter for Paramahansas. But in our present level of consciousness, we have to realize that the connection is there. And the Chandogyopanishad has a story in this regard. The Guruji was teaching his disciples that food has an impact on the mind. So the disciples said, Guruji, this does not seem plausible to me. The mind is subtle and food is gross. How can there be a connection? The Guruji said, all right, stop eating. He made him fast for 15 days. And he said, do you remember these mantras? So the disciple had forgotten all the mantras. He said, all right, now eat. He made him eat and he started remembering the mantras. He said, see, there is a link between the two. That is why the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita repeatedly tell us, if you wish to lead the divine life, it is important to understand the science of proper and healthy eating. Foods can in general be classified in the three modes: Sattvagun, Rajogun, Tamogun. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. What are foods in the mode of goodness? These are the natural foods created by God for us humans. The grain, the dals, lentils, pulses and beans, the fruits, the vegetables, and all the products of the cow, all this is sattvic diet. When you take it properly, in moderation, it makes your body sattvic, brings it into the mode of goodness, makes your mind sattvic, peaceful, calm, composed. So this is sattvic diet. However, the same food, when you take it to the extreme, overcook it, too much of salt, or too much of chilies, or too much of sugar, or too sour, in other words, anything too much in it, then it becomes rajasic. It comes into the mode of passion. You are then eating to gratify the palate. So that is not the spirit of yajna. You have to eat to live and not live to eat. But that is what we are doing in the mode of passion. Foodies, they call them out here foodies, right? So, this is the mode of passion. So when we eat foods in the mode of passion, it sends the mind into a spin, enhancing the worldly aspirations, increasing the worldly desires to see, touch, taste, feel, hankering for worldly enhancement. That is the characteristic trait of the mode of passion. And then, the Bhagavad Gita, in this later chapter, Shree Krishna goes into great details. But because he's brought up the topic of food here, so I am just elaborating. There is then the mode of ignorance, tamogun. So what is tamasic food? Food that has putrefied, that is stale, that is dry, that is addictive, and all the meat products. So all these meat products and eggs and fish, they are all included in the category of tamogun, foods in the mode of ignorance. So when we take such foods, the body and mind take on such a disposition. The nature of the mode of ignorance, tamogun, is it increases the tendency to violence, increases the anger, laziness, addiction, sleep. These are the traits. And increases in general the darkness of the soul. The soul is in the darkness of ignorance. It enhances the darkness. Of course, the Vedic scriptures repeatedly say that don't take meat products. But throughout the world, in all religious tradition, we find that many noble souls, saints, thinkers, although born in meat-eating families, they naturally gravitated towards vegetarianism. Whether it was in America, in England, etc., great thinkers, they naturally felt that, this is not in consonance, this diet, with my thoughts, so I'd rather take a vegetarian diet. However, if we logic it out, God has designed this body for vegetarianism. See, the carnivorous animals, they have very short intestines because meat putrefies very rapidly. So if it remains for long, it will putrefy and then it will cause disease. So it has to be expelled quickly. That is why the intestines of non-vegetarian animals are very small, 3 times the body length. And the human intestines are 10 to 12 times the body length, the small intestines. So the food is going to remain in for so long that meat will putrefy. So medical statistics reveal that meat eaters have twice the risk of cancer compared to non-meat eaters. That's against the bodily design. And all this holy cow disease that spread, they were feeding beef to the cows. Now they're going against the design of God, and that was the cause. So, and apart from that, these carnivorous animals have sets of teeth planned accordingly. They've got a whole set out here of canines for biting and tearing that flesh. God has given us molars out here. He's not given canines all the way through. And then apart from that, these carnivorous animals have a higher level of acid in the stomach to digest that meat. Not we humans. It's not to that extent. And a very interesting characteristic you will notice is that all these meat-eating animals, when they drink water, they lap the water. And they regulate body temperature not by sweating, but through the tongue. And we humans, we don't regulate body temperature through the tongue, but through the pores. And we don't lap water, we suck the water. So all this is indicative that God designed this human body for vegetarianism. Apart from that, if we are killing animals, then the karmic reactions, we will have to bear them. You're taking life for yourself, you will have to face the karmic reactions. Now out here, Shree Krishna is going beyond. And he's saying even if you kill vegetables, even then you are indulging in sin. So he says that all right, vegetarian diet is fine, but even then, there has to be a proper way of doing it. Because life exists in various forms. The plants also have life. Dr. J.C. Bose, the Calcutta scientist in the early 20th century, he revealed how the plants possess consciousness and you can enhance their growth through music. And when the gardener walks in who loves the plants, their vibrations change. And when a hunter walks in with a gun to kill the birds, again the vibrations of the trees change. So these trees possess consciousness, they possess life, they also have souls. If you are killing them, you are still involving yourself in karma. So how to release yourself from the karma of killing these vegetables and plants? So Shree Krishna says, Arjun, those who offer their food to God and partake of the remnants, they are released from sin. While those who merely eat in the enjoying consciousness are actually eating sin. So the difference out here is in the internal attitude. If our attitude is, let me enjoy this, let me enjoy that, then face the karmic reactions. For your enjoyment, so many plants were killed, face the karmic reactions. But if our attitude is, I do need to eat, otherwise this body will not function. But my goal is to use this body in the service of God and in reaching Him. So that is why I have to take care of it. So whatever I eat, first let me offer it to God. Oh Lord, you please accept this, and then I will partake of it as your remnant. So Shree Krishna says, this attitude, Arjun, will release you from sin. The spirit of yajna is once again brought in.